The 49ers just got unbelievable praise I'm going to tell you about in this episode, plus so much more other stuff, so stick around for all of that. Hit subscribe if you're looking for 49ers content like this. Appreciate you guys so much. Been really helpful to hear your guys' perspectives. I'm kind of thinking through a lot of the same things you guys are and struggling with a lot of the same things you guys are, and that's why I love your guys' input. Speaking of input, the 49ers right now, I got a little image issue there going on, whatever. The 49ers are 4-2. As you know, the season is not over. They're in a great position in the NFC West. The NFC as a whole is up for grabs right now. And you have Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh running the helm. They're there, running the show, at the helm, whatever you want to say. This team is full of heart. They are full of fight, something we didn't see a lot of last season. And they have some real deficiencies too, to be fair. So I'm curious how you guys see right now in this moment. I don't care about if what your predictions are 2 weeks from now are accurate or not. Just today, on Tuesday, October 14th, right now, how do you see the 49ers finishing this season right now? Because that's going to tell you a lot about what you think the 49ers should do in this situation as well. We talked about that yesterday. How do the 49ers address the offensive line? How do the 49ers address the defensive line? What's the number one priority for the 49ers, right? All of that kind of in yesterday's video and in the discussion, in the chat, and all that kind of stuff. So here's what the 49ers have right now. Falcons at home. Then they're at the Texans, at the Giants, at home against the Rams, at the Cardinals, versus the Panthers at home, at the Browns in Cleveland, versus the Titans at home, at the Colts, versus the Bears at home, and the Seahawks at home to close out the season. So essentially right now you're a 4-win team, and you're basically saying generally 7 more wins would get it done right now. Okay. If you can get to 11 wins, usually that's a playoff team, right? So the 49ers need to win at least 6 of those games to have a shot. A 10-win team can still get in the playoffs. So I'm curious from your guys' perspective, the NFC is open as it is right now. Can the 49ers get at least 6 wins with Falcons, Texans, Giants, Rams, Cardinals, Panthers, Browns, Titans, Colts, Bears, Seahawks? It is an unbelievable season. So much parity around the league. You've got the Bills losing to the Falcons. You've got the Bears winning against the Commanders last night. You have the Titans, who are awful and have fired their coach, so who knows who the Titans will be by the time we play them. The Panthers, who upset the Falcons and they didn't score a point against the Panthers. Like, there's just unbelievable. The Giants have had really good games despite some of their losses. So every single one of these teams on this list right now, the Colts, a team that nobody was really expecting to be as good as they are. Every single one of these teams could be really tough. Every one of them. And you could also find a lot of these teams on good days when things go your way and things don't go their way. So who knows how this is going to play out, obviously. I'd like to believe in these remaining games here. How many games is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games. Can the 49ers win at least 6 of them? Can they have a winning record to close out the season? Can they muster up enough fight to win 6 of the remaining 11? Can they go 6-5 or 7-4? Let me know what you think in the comments. Appreciate your guys' thoughts as always. I think they can do it. I really do think they can do it. I think it's going to be harder. It's going to be a lot harder. And I think that it's going to require a little bit from John Lynch. So we'll talk about that too. But I do think it's absolutely possible. It's absolutely possible. This team could be a playoff team. I'm not going to talk about the Super Bowl. I told you that yesterday. But, the team can make it to the playoffs. And you never know what can happen when you're in the playoffs. But let's talk about Drew Brees first. Because the 49ers got unbelievable praise. Unbelievable. I don't know anybody right now who, after seeing what happened against the Buccaneers and knowing Fred Warner's out for the season, Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, your two defensive pillars, the biggest ones, are gone for the season. I don't know anybody who is as bullish as Drew Brees is about Mac Jones and the 49ers. Drew Brees is also a big fan of Brock Purdy, excuse me. Drew Brees is also a big fan of Brock Purdy, and that maybe plays into it as well. He's a big fan of Kyle Shanahan, so that plays into it for sure. But Drew Brees, top 5 teams coming out of Week 6. After Week 6, so keep that in mind. He says the Buccaneers are number 1 in the NFL, The Colts are number 2 in the NFL, and coming in number 3 is the San Francisco 49ers, a team that has found ways to win. I don't know how much of this is because Drew Brees is like real quarterback biased, I guess you could say. Like he kind of biases towards specific type of quarterback play. He biases toward teams that have great quarterback play. I don't know. I'm just telling you what he said. And he said this to Stephen A. Smith, who about lost his mind. But when has that ever not happened, that Stephen A. Smith doesn't lose his mind? He said, even though they just lost to the Buccaneers, it was a close game. I like the way Mac Jones is playing. I think they got something going. That is pretty cool. I would say that is, for me, I mean, I don't even have the 49ers as a top 3 team. So that's crazy. And I am like biased toward the 49ers. That's unbelievable praise, and it tells me maybe there's something I'm not seeing, which in a good way. Because I'm looking at Mac Jones' performance, and I was a little disappointed. And I know, like, I'm not trying to point fingers at Mac Jones on a week when you're down everybody except for Christian McCaffrey, essentially, right? Like, that's all you got left is Christian McCaffrey, and you're finding ways to move the ball for 350 yards. So I'm not trying to throw stones at Mac Jones, but he was not great. You can give Kendrick Bourne the responsibility for the first pick, but Mac Jones has to take responsibility for the second pick. Mac Jones, if you're going to make Brock Purdy, I saw a lot of people making Brock Purdy responsible for a fumble. Why aren't you making Mac Jones responsible for a fumble? I'm just saying. If you're gonna say, hey, I'd like you to do something in that pocket, is what Kyle Shanahan said. I'd like you to do something in that scenario. Then should you be expecting Mac Jones to do something in that scenario? Look. It's just the way that it's playing out. I'm not trying to hate on Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones. I like Brock Purdy both. I like them both, right? But when you look at a QBR rating, for example, he's the 4th worst quarterback this weekend. So that's your Week 6 performances there. Mac Jones way down there, managing to stay above Justin Fields, who also got sacked a ton, and Josh Allen. Josh Allen from last night. Managing to do that, okay? Now, again, this is Week 6. This is a really bad game. This is a game when the defense went down. This is a game when your offensive line had their worst performance of the season. I'm, again, not trying to say Mac Jones is a bad quarterback. But I think despite this, Drew Brees believes that Mac Jones is playing great football and that the 49ers are a top 3 team in the NFL. Not in the NFC even. In the NFL. That is pretty incredible, if you ask me. You know what? That's just going to say it like that. There's a lot of other stuff, too. Speaking of a new captain, because this team is going to look a lot different now. You have Tatum Bethune, who's going to be in there as the Mike linebacker. I think that's either in my notes, but it's the truth. That's the way that it is. So if I come back to it, whoopsies. But Deommodore Lenoir is now, kind of the lone captain of the defense. He's a first-time captain. He's a new captain. And now it's all on him. It's all on him out there on the field. He was asked about Robert Saleh since joining the 49ers. Here's what he said about what Robert Saleh has done for him as a player and for this team. I would say the energy is the biggest difference. The energy he brings to the defense is second to none. I haven't been with a coach like that ever since I've been playing football. His IQ, the way he studies the game, I feel like he's always putting us in a position to win the game. That's what Deommodore Lenoir said today on KNBR. That is high praise from a player who's been, his whole career. He's been with a lot of different coaches throughout his life, and he's never played with a guy like Robert Saleh. High praise for him, and we're going to need Robert Saleh. And that's why I mentioned his name at the beginning of the show, because when I'm thinking about what the 49ers can do, he is a massive factor in what the 49ers can do. He will find ways to get production out of his defense. So I don't want to judge too harshly on how this defense struggled without Fred Warner, because Bethune didn't have enough reps, enough time, enough preparation to go in there and be Fred Warner. That's a big job to ask. Demo was asked about Tatum Bethune, by the way. Here's what he said. It's kind of crazy because Fred used to always make Tatum break down the team, so I've seen the leadership in him already, just hearing him talk. I know he's made of the right stuff. I got the utmost confidence in him. I feel like he's going to do great out. Quick pause for a message from our sponsors. One of the sponsors I'm so excited about on this channel. Genuinely, I'm stinking proud that this channel can be sponsored by Chomps. Chomps is a company that is fantastic, and their product is amazing. I absolutely love these things. If you've never had them before, I strongly suggest you give them a try. I had never had them before. My wife actually picked them up, brought them home, and I'd never heard of them before, gave them a taste, and I genuinely love them. And I don't just love the flavor. There's a lot more to love, like 0 grams of sugar, 10 grams of protein, 100 calories, grass-fed beef. And if you're like me, if you're trying to focus on nutrition, you're trying to pay attention to what you're putting in your body, like this is fantastic. I love these things. They come in different flavors, by the way. I've got a couple different flavors here you can check out there. And there are lots of other flavors you can choose from as well. I strongly encourage you to go check them out. I've said this before, like I was not a diehard beef sticks guy as a kid. And I am now because I love these. Chomps made me a believer. These are so delicious. If you click the link in my description, and use my promo code STSF. My friends over at Chomps want to give you 15% off your entire order, which I think is pretty awesome. Throw them in your gym bag, throw them in your car, throw them in your desk at work, whatever. They're fantastic, and they're there when you need it, and they're always satisfying, in my personal opinion. I think you should give them a try. All right, back to the video. There. So there you go. And by the way, for those of you that were wondering, I know I've seen some people talking about it, you know, if D. Winters is going to move into the Mike. He'll stay at the will position, and you'll have Tatum Bethune as the Mike linebacker going forward. Speaking of that, I think I've got something on that. Yes, per Matt Mayoko, the 49ers are not expected to trade for a veteran linebacker and will go with Tatum Bethune as the starting Mike linebacker for the rest of the season. He's got the job. They're putting their confidence in him. Obviously, things can change week to week. I'm not trying to say this is a guarantee, this is how it's going to be. But right now, this is the message that the 49ers are sending right now. They are telling you Tatum Bethune's the guy. And in terms of power, in terms of the way that he can hit on such a short yardage opportunities, I've been really impressed by him in preseason. And I've been impressed by him when he's had opportunities, but he's going to have to do a lot more than that now. He's not just a guy coming in. He's got to get the defense ready. He has to make the calls. He has to get everybody organized. He has to recognize the motions, and that was not good enough. That was not good enough. De'Amon Lenoir talking about taking over as the leader of the defense. Now that Fred Warner's out, here's what he said. Fred was the vocal piece. So now that that's gone, somebody has to fill in like myself. I'll be holding everyone accountable and making sure we're all working as one. And Demo, he's got that corner vibe, right? Cornerbacks, that kind of like same thing with wide receivers, little bit of a individualistic attitude. And you have to have that. You have to be that guy, a corner in this league, right? If you want to be a lockdown corner, that's your job. Your job is to really focus in that way. So it'll be interesting to see, too, with Demo not just being that guy in the corner that is setting the tone, but also being a team leader in that regard in the vacancy of Fred Warner. That's interesting as well. But I'm interested in it. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about Demo and this opportunity for him. But there's no doubt that many believe it's time for a change. And this is not just me saying this. This is Brian Baldinger saying this morning on 95.7 The Game, saying if they want to be competitive, they got to make a move. If they sit and just stay, we're going to develop our young guys. We're sitting tight like that. No. If I'm John Lynch, you got to make a move. So Brian Baldinger saying you got to make a move. Now, I just told you, Matt Mayoko has inside scoop that the 49ers are not going to make a move at linebacker. So the move, where? Where is that move? And I put Bosa on the screen because I think about that move. It has to be Bosa because we're seeing a huge drop-off in the post-Bosa era. And I'm hoping we don't see as big of a drop-off in the post-Warner era, but it's tricky because obviously you lost Bosa first and you had a couple games without him. And now anything that you have without Warner is on top of what not having Nick Bosa. So it's going to be interesting, but I still think the move is on the defensive line. I still think that's where you put your energy. And Kyle Shanahan talked about that. I think I've got a quote on that in a minute as well. But here's what I'm talking about with what's happened since we've lost Nick Bosa. Young 49ers defender who's being targeted a lot is D. Winters, who opened very hot in coverage in the first 3 games, 48 yards allowed. But Winters has allowed, since then, 18 catches, 151 yards into coverage over the past 3 games. So he's averaging now 50.3 yards per game allowed. That's not good. You got to do better than that, especially from your standout will linebacker, right? Your Dre Greenlaw stand-in, whatever you want to call him, I don't care. D. Winters is great. He's a thumper. He's powerful, and he made huge improvements we saw in both preseason and in the beginning of the season with his coverage. So in coverage snaps, he's going to need to step it up because now he's going to be more on an island than ever. But I think this is the effect of not having a strong defensive line. That's where I think this is. You're not getting to the quarterback. You're not pressuring the quarterback enough. And this is where not having QB hits and not keeping the quarterback uncomfortable, this is where you see that playing out. It's not because D. Winters is horrible in coverage. It's because D. Winters, and the time that wide receivers have to get into space, D. Winters is playing from behind. And they all are. They're all playing from behind on a bunch of these plays because there's too much time. There's too much time for the quarterback. So I think that's the right move. 49ers pass defense without Fred. Emeka Egbuka ran 0 routes in the second half of the Buccaneers' Week 6 game. Baker Mayfield had a perfect passer rating that averaged 15.4 yards per attempt during that time. It's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Now, that was without Fred. Understandable. You got a bigger impact on what's happening in the secondary, especially. But that's also because of no Nick Bosa, to be fair. Okay? Shanahan said this yesterday. If you listened to the press conference, you already heard this, but he said, I don't think we are being that aggressive. I mean, we're looking for things that make sense for our team right now. And he emphasized, and if you listen to the recording, and in the future. Not having Fred makes that harder, but I don't see a big difference between Sunday before the game started and today. It definitely hurts losing a guy like Fred, but in terms of people who are available that can improve our team for this year and next year, I don't see the situation that much different. That you could take that to mean a lot of things, but I think in short, what it means is that the 49ers are not interested in making a big move at linebacker. They're not changing their strategy in the trade market because of Fred Warner's injury. That's what that means. Now, might they bring in another guy, another body? Sure. Might Curtis Robinson get the call up? Sure. There are other things that can happen, for sure. But right now, the trade market that we've heard, John Lynch has said he's been making calls and he's active, right, in the trade market. I think that we're talking about a defensive lineman, probably. And the most interesting part of Kyle Shanahan going out of his way to say we're not interested in someone who's let's just say a mercenary, right? We're not interested in somebody for this year. We're looking for people who are good for us now and beyond. That tells me guys like Trey Hendrickson are off the table. And he's probably your top target, the top available target out there. So if Trey Hendrickson is off the table, now you're talking about kind of maybe a different caliber of defensive lineman, a different caliber of edge rusher, right? Now, Bryce Huff's been good, but he's not an every down edge rusher. So you're in a tricky spot there. Before I go, I wanted to share this with you, and I'll warn you. If you're the get sad type and you don't want to get sad right now, you might not want to listen to this. I thought this was brilliant. I think 49ers fans will eat this up and love it in the worst of ways, and I think you get what I mean when you hear it. But this is Brian Baldinger's tribute to Fred Warner, as this will be the last Baldy breakdown of Fred Warner for this season. Here's what Brian Baldinger had to say that I thought we'd close out the episode today on this one because it made me feel, I don't know how to describe it. It made me feel good and bad at the same time. I felt good in the sense that I feel heard, and I felt bad in the sense that it's a sucky reminder. So if you don't want to be sad, don't listen to this.
There's just certain people that when you watch them, you just go, there's a joy to this kind of violence. There's just a joy to it. Get up and go do it again. Like there's watching Fred over the last 8 years, like that's the man in the middle. See ball, get ball. It was every week, every year, starting in 2018, his first game against the Minnesota Vikings. Nothing felt better to Fred Warner than getting the ball in his hands. Like it was like a bar of gold. He loved it. That's what he tried to do. And no matter what he was trying to do. Like he did it full speed, full metal jacket, get the ball out. covering tight ends, defending the goal line. Like, he's the original border czar. Ain't nobody crossing the border on Fred's watch. Doesn't matter what the last name was. Gonna miss this on Sundays. Gonna miss this on Mondays. Gonna miss this in the film room. The hair just flying. Fred getting his hands on the football. Like, that felt good. There was just watching him play football. He was the conductor. Get everybody lined up first. Get them lined up. Get them all, and then go. All right? Just roaming the prairies like a lion in the Serengeti. Just getting the ball out, changing the game. Fred did it better than anybody. Oh, these battles with the Rams, I mean, come on. Like, give me some StubHub prices. I'll pay him to go watch Takedown Kyron. 132 straight games counting the playoffs. Fred Warner was the man in the middle. It's just going to miss him. He's going to be back. He's only 29 years old. He's going to be back, and he's going to be tackling just the same. It's all going to come back. He's going to heal quickly. But, man, for the next 3 months, I'm going to miss Fred Warner. You will, too. The league will miss him. We're a league built on stars, and Fred Warner was a star.
Oh, no one can say it like Brian Baldinger says it, right? Yeah, you know, the hope in there, of course. You've signed Fred Warner to a big deal. And Fred Warner's going to be, you've extended his big deal. He already had a big deal. He's going to come back. And you're going to have him back in the future. And you're thinking long-term about the 49ers. Fred Warner's still going to be here. He's still your guy. That's great. It sucks that the injury will take him out for the season. It's fantastic that the injury will not take him out into next season like we see with ACLs all the time. So Fred Warner will be back. He'll be back, and I thought that tribute, I don't know if you got the same feels that I got out of that, but it made me feel really good and really sad at the same time. That is the impact of the player, and the reason I wanted to play that audio for you is because it underscores what the 49ers need to fill. It underscores what the 49ers need to do on this team, what Tatum Bethune and D. Winters now have to step up in order to do, what Diamador Lenore has to do and has to create. It's not going to happen from one guy. No one guy can replace Fred Warner, but the team can find a way to be successful in each of those things in their own way. If they can rise to the occasion, if they can learn what they need to learn, and if they can step in to the deep end and find a way to win. You are 5 days away from the Atlanta Falcons riding a huge high. They're coming in having just beat the Buffalo Bills, and they're going to be feeling really good about it. Bijan Robinson is going to be very, very difficult. And this run defense for the 49ers right now, they're about to see the toughest running back they've seen all season. So it's going to be a tough game, you guys. It's going to be gritty if they win it. And if they're not careful, they could totally run the game like they did against the Bills. So let me know what you guys think in the comments as always. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday. I hope you didn't shed any tears during that Brian Baldinger clip. But I feel you. We all feel you. We're all here together. And I appreciate you, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your night.